Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at Kabuto Goofy from Mickey and Friends. And for this month, out of all the new Tsums, Kabuto Goofy is going to be one of the better ones, and we'll take a look at why that is a little bit later. For this game demonstration, it is a skill level 1 demonstration, but later on in this video, I am also going to compare skill level 2 and 3, so stay tuned. I will share with you the difference between the 3 different skill levels. But let's take a look at his ability as well as his stats. The ability description is clear vertical line of Tsums, and this game demonstration that you're watching right now is a skill level 1 demonstration, so the skill range is going to be extra small. To activate Kabuto Goofy's ability, you will need to clear a total of 14 copies of him on the screen, and then you can activate his ability. His minimum score is 110 with a maximum score of 884. So if you have been following my leaks, there is going to be a score challenge at the end of this month. So Kabuto Goofy is going to be a very viable Tsum to use at the higher levels. So if you have a high level, maybe level 40 and above, Kabuto Goofy could be a viable Tsum for you to get a high score. So keep that in mind during the score challenge at the end of this month. And if you're not too sure what score challenge I'm talking about, check out the video that I have for March leaks. That will give you a little bit more detail about the end of the month event, which is the score challenge. But back to Kabuto Goofy specifically. If you do want to get Kabuto Goofy to skill level 6, you're going to need to get a total of 32 copies of him. Whether you're getting it in the premium box or using skill tickets, that's really up to you. In my opinion, Kabuto Goofy is a good Tsum, however, I still would recommend you to save your skill tickets. I wouldn't necessarily say spend all of your skill tickets on Kabuto Goofy. Even at skill level 1, Kabuto Goofy is already pretty good. And every single time you level up Kabuto Goofy, the skill range is going to increase a little bit. And to be specific, it's going to be about 1 row increase, but I'll show you later on in this video when I do the side-by-side comparison. That way you can really see the difference. And without further ado, let's do a side-by-side comparison between skill level 1, 2, and 3. And again, the difference here is the skill range, and that's the only difference. It's still going to require the same amount of charge of time. The difference here is skill level 1 is a extra small skill range, skill level 2 is a small skill range, and skill level 3 is a medium skill range. Now let me talk a little bit about strategy as well. There are a couple of strategies you could implement, and I'll start off with the easiest one. The very first strategy is just wait until the entire screen is full of Tsums before you activate the ability. And the reason for that is because during the ability time, the screen will completely freeze. So let's say if you have a lot of gaps in between the screen and the little ninja stars fall doesn't clear anything, then you're not going to get a really high chain, therefore you're getting less coins. So to ensure that you're getting the max amount of chains, you could wait a couple of seconds, make sure the screen is full of Tsums, and then activate the ability. The second strategy you could implement is have a magic bubble handy and pop that magic bubble like you just saw there at skill level 2 right before you activate the ability. What that does is it will make the Tsums fall a little bit faster if you're not in fever. And then secondly, a bunch of Tsums would have already been queued up where the coin count as well as the score counter is. There's already going to be Tsums there. So that way when the little ninja stars fall down, Tsums are going to be clear there as well. The third strategy would be to spam the ability button. Keep an eye out for skill level 2. As you could see here, my charge up is about to be full, so I'm going to spam the ability button. And there's a little bit of extra charge that went into the next charge up, so that way it requires a little bit less Tsums to clear to activate the ability again. And using this third strategy will allow you to activate more abilities at a time, but the trade-off here is that your chains are going to be a lot smaller because you're pretty much going to be guaranteed that you're going to get a lot of gaps when the little ninja stars fall on the screen. What I also want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of the abilities activated at the same time. So that way you can really analyze the difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3. Because looking at it from a surface level, there's not a lot of changes here. It looks relatively the same. So let me show you guys here with the ability activated at the same time. So first we have Kabuto Goofy. You see the ninja stars fall from the top to bottom. Let me slow this down and I will show you what really the difference is between skill level 1, 2, and 3. So take a look at skill level 1 here. The columns that you see are mostly going to be single file Tsums. On the very right, it's clearly that the columns that's going to clear, or the vertical line, is 1. In the middle, you see mostly 1 as well if you squish them all together, but you could kind of tell there's a little bit of double stacking. And then for the very left one, for skill level 1, very similar situation there. You see that there's a lot of gaps there, and it's not fully 2 columns worth or 2 vertical lines, so it's pretty thin there. Now moving over to skill level 2, the zooms are a lot more compact and still got cleared. You see that compared to skill level 1, there are some gaps on the very left row, but skill level 2, both on the sides, majority of them are going to be 2 columns worth. The middle is still a single file line, so that's the difference there. And then very clearly at skill level 3, the columns on the right, center, and on the right hand side are all going to be 2 columns wide, so clearing a lot more zooms compared to skill level 1 and 2. Now let's digest it a little bit more and resume. As you can see here, the chain count for skill level 1 is 22, skill level 2 is 27, and skill level 3 is 29. There's also a factor here. If you have a big zoom, you'll just add 4 to your chain. So if you have a big zoom on the screen and you happen to clear that, then you're gonna have additional 4. I purposely didn't select a screenshot that has a big zoom to just keep it fair, but that's really the difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3. Now the next thing I want to show you guys is the score and also the coins. So keep in mind that my Kabuto Goofy is still at a relatively low level. I do plan on trying to get Kabuto Goofy maxed out before the score challenge. That is going to be my main zoom when it comes to the score challenge, at least for one of the groups at least. At skill level 1, the coin I got is 1,570, so which is pretty good for a skill level 1 zoom. For skill level 2, I got 2,500, so also pretty good for a skill level 2 zoom. And for skill level 3, I got 2,834. This is, I would say, average. It's decent for a skill level 3 zoom. Definitely a lot better than most of the zooms that we currently have out at the moment. So if you need a relatively good coin earner and don't want to spend a lot of coins or don't want to spend a lot of skill tickets, then Kabuto Goofy is a good option right now. So keep that in mind. This is a second gameplay of the Kabuto Goofy. I wanted to just give you guys some comparison instead of just having watched one gameplay, so you can really see what the ranges could be when you are using Kabuto Goofy. So earlier I mentioned 3 different strategies, and you might wonder, what is the best strategy? And the answer to that is not really a simple one, and it really is a combination of all 3. What you want to do is be strategic about it. If your screen is already relatively full after you cleared a bunch of Kabuto Goofy, then you definitely want to spam the ability button. But if you notice that your screen is relatively empty, if you activated the ability, you're not going to clear a lot of zooms, then give it a couple of seconds and let the screen settle. Of course, if you don't have a bubble handy, then that's not going to help you regardless, so you definitely want to wait that couple of seconds. So it's a combination of both. If you are able to strategize a little bit, you will be able to maximize the coin earning potential with Kabuto Goofy. So he's not necessarily the easiest sim to perfect, but it is a really good sim for this month. So I am going to skip to the very end here to show you what I earned for coins as well as the score. And for this second game demonstration, I did perform a little bit better than my first demonstration, so keep that in mind. For skill level 1, I got 1,717. Skill level 2, I got 2,632. And finally, for skill level 3, I got 2,967. So these are all more on the topper tier if you do play a good game. And here's a quick snapshot between the first attempt and the second attempt, and you could take a look at the comparison between the score as well as the coin count. The score is also going to depend on the supporting zoom, so the score is not necessarily going to be too definitive, but at least this could give you a general idea of the coin count. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you guys found it helpful in determining if you want to invest in Kabuto Goofy or not. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that way you won't miss a thing. And as always, thank you so much for watching.